if you take the boy from Pruitt-Igoe and you put him on a train and he watches the whole western United States go by out of the windows of the train, the changing landscapes, the cities and towns. Finally, you get to the golden land of San Francisco, of California, and you get in a taxi cab and you go down a freeway. I'd never been on a freeway. And you get off into this neighborhood with these neat little bungalow homes, and you've never seen that either. I mean, yeah, as a small child, like living with my parents and with my grandmother there in downtown Starkville, but a whole neighborhood, and he stops in front of this house. There's trees out front, deep yard. Out back, there are fruit trees and nut trees. And I asked, who else lives here? Because from my recent experience, we always lived in places with a whole bunch of other people. I could see it was very small, but there must be somebody else who lives here. Papa says, no, we're the only people who live here. I says, and the trees are ours too? Yep, the trees are ours too. Oh joy, oh joy, oh joy. Welcome back to Ashford Gordon from the beginning. The Front Street Prophets had a strong run for 2.5 years when Big Mike and our bass player Mike Smith needed to pause in deference to family obligations, leaving Mikey Katnick, Glenn Sherba, and myself in need of a drummer and a bass player. The bass position was immediately and ably filled by Eric Monteith and then by the late Billy Bold. But the drum chair proved to be a challenge, though a number of great drummers filled in, including John Lockus and Tony Cicero, until my desired choice became available, the now late dynamic Dave Stewart. I returned to billing the band as the Ashford Gordon Band, and we worked from Goleta and Santa Barbara to the north, down to Westlake Village in the south of Ventura, and all points in between. As 2008 approached, I was selling Hondas in Thousand Oaks for a day job, and continuing to work clubs at night. However, calamity was dead ahead in the form of the Great Recession. Over the course of a few months, I went from selling 20 cars a month to 4, effectively ending that revenue stream for me. I had to quickly develop a plan going forward, and the very first thing I needed to do was to reduce my living expenses so my wife and I could live within our means. Our daughter Marley had moved to Mesa, Arizona for her second year in college, and research revealed that the cost of living in the Grand Canyon state was roughly half of what it cost to live in Ventura County. We found a house, signed a year lease, packed a 24-foot rental truck, and with our 2 dogs and elderly cat, we set up housekeeping in Mesa. Of course, living in Arizona put a damper on gigging in Ventura, but nonetheless, I continued to make appearances several times a year at the original Bombay Wednesday night blues jam, first with Eric Lemaire, then Ray Jarick, and finally Tommy Marsh. 6 times a year, I would call Big Mike's new band, the Uptown Brothers with Ray Jarick, to support me for bookings at the Watermark, Amigos, the Palms in Carpinteria, and private party gigs as far away as Pasadena. After a Toys for Tots fundraiser in 2012 at the Tavern in Ventura, Ray Jarick, Guy Martin, myself, and Lillian Swartz were knocking around the idea of fundraisers. I had related to Lillian that I was going to appear at a fundraiser in the near future, and after learning the benefit was for cancer research, she made the case that there was a need for drug recovery and rehabilitation, a subject that I am all too familiar with. The vision for the Key to the Highway Blues benefit was born. Lillian and I marshaled the music community in Ventura to raise money to benefit local rehab and recovery facility, Kepera House. The blues benefit returned each year until 2016 and raised many thousands of dollars for Kepera House. In retrospect, retrospect, gigging in California while living in Arizona was one thing, but nothing compared to a festival gig back in 2010. A Facebook friend began asking what it would take to lure me to Michigan for the East Tawas Blues by the Bay Festival. Louis Sticks is a great drummer who is known nationwide. Giving the idea thought as to how this could pencil out, it became clear to me that this would have to be 3 bookings, including 2 club gigs sandwiched around the big payday on festival day. As Louis grew more strident about booking the festival, I indicated that lodging should be included, as well as food and beverage for the 2 club gigs. My plan was to drive Mikey and I from Arizona to East Tawas, Michigan, and Louis had a killer bass player coming in from New York, one Don Dial M for bass Miller. Mikey and I made the drive in 2+ days and were greatly gratified by the reception we received both at the afternoon festival show and the 2 club gigs. A truly unforgettable experience. Back in Arizona after the festival gig, I cast about for a part-time job and followed up with a new friend, a co-owner of a Mesa pawn shop, Walter Cheeseman, who was also a drummer. Walt hired me part-time, and I learned the pawn shop business while Walt invited me to his home in North Phoenix to jam with him and a bass player. We had chemistry, and Walt suggested we form a band. He had a guitarist, John Lombardo, a fellow New York native like Walt. I had a tremendous young bass player, Jimmy Wilson of Phoenix, who had responded to an emergency call from me a year before when my bass player failed to show for a gig, and Jimmy turned up on time and saved my bacon. This band we dubbed the Second Hand Blues Band, which we booked in Tempe, Scottsdale, Mesa, and Phoenix. We determined that we would record our debut CD, and we set about the work of recording backing tracks with our engineer, Brian Cuban, though the overdubs, final vocals, mixing, and mastering would not be done until 2015. With the help of a team including graphic artist Chris Jensen, photographer Amanda Peacock, keyboard player Rocky Saran, coordinator Donna Gabriel, and the large number of supportive fans that attended our gigs in the greater Phoenix area, the Second Hand Blues Band launched our self-titled CD with a packed release party at Grapes and Hops in downtown Ventura, January 2017. I present to you here 2 tracks from the Second Hand Blues Band, All These Blues, and I Got to Find My Way Home, both featuring John Lombardo on first guitar, Walter Cheeseman on drums, Jimmy Wilson on bass, Rocky Saran on keyboard, and myself on second guitar and vocal. When you have these blues and there's someone you're about to lose, there'll come a time when you can't sleep at night. She will believe in you, oh, you will treat her right. I said every day when the sun is almost down, you'll remember when your baby left this town. Some people were born to lose, that's where lovers have the blues. I say every day about 5, hang your head and cry. That's the time your baby satisfies, and you wanna put your traveling shoes on. Don't you feel like crying? Yeah, when you get these kind of blues. Just the time your baby satisfies and you wanna put your traveling shoes on. Hey, don't you feel like crying? Yeah, when you get these kind of blues. I said every day when the sun is almost down, you'll remember when your baby left this town. Don't you feel like crying? Yeah, when you get these kind of blues. Love was a wonderland we built on shifting sand. I tried to hold you close. It was an overdose. I got lost on the way. It was not my finest day. I got to find my way home. There must be a better way to say what I'm trying to say. My friends, they laugh and clown. Their act just brings me down. I could be happier. I had a GPS. I got to find my way home. There must be a better way to say what I'm trying to say. My friends, they laugh and clown. Their act just brings me down. I could be happier. I had a GPS. I got to find my way home. I taste the cool sweet air, knowing I'm almost there. Straight to your loving arms and to your tender charms. Back to where I belong, where your love is so strong. I got to find my way home. What's in front of me? There is no need to fret. Your promise will be kept. Close in my heart of hearts. My joy is off the charts. I have found my way home. I want to thank you all for being with me over the past 10 weeks as we've worked our way through my life and career. As you may recall, this series is actually a preview of the From the Beginning CD box set project that will include the 20 tracks we have included in this series, as well as nearly 40 additional tracks, many of them unreleased, which I'm in the process of curating, remixing, and in some cases, remastering. I have appreciated your support. Jess Marley Productions and I will be starting a podcast as this project progresses with more content to look forward to coming down the line. This is Ashford Gordon, signing off for now. Thank you.
Bud walked in, he sat right down, said there's a lot of pain in this town. I was wondering while he spoke if he realized that it sounded like a joke. Bud says, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.